you're caught.
Let me ask you this: the other two charges they got him on is distributing a controlled substance and possession of firearm in the furtherance of drug trafficking. So I don't know exactly what the evidence or what the allegation is, whether he had it on his body, his person, or he was in the company of people with these things and in the same car. I'm not really sure, but I'm sure those things do mitigate, right? So, for example, if he was in the apartment or home where there was a firearm and there was drugs being were in possession of people, that in of itself isn't enough to convict him on this just because
sure
he was present.
Sure.
Why is that? Why is that?
Well, there are three sorts of conspiracies: joint, actual, constructive. He may not have actual possession of the gun or firearm, but he sure the hell got joint and constructive, because see, if he knows where the drugs are, right? So I tell clients this all the time. I got a pen in my hand, and I'm sitting across the table from you. Now, joint, actual, constructive. Actual possession is I got it in my hand. Okay, Chris Hamilton's not. You can't find Chris guilty of actual because it's not in his hand. But joint possession is if I got it in my hand and it's in the middle of the table. Chris knows it's there. I know it's there. That's joint possession. That's joint possession. So in other words, Chris can grab a hold of the pen if he wanted to. So can I.
Wait. Are you telling me that I could get in trouble because we're in the same room with an illegal substance?
Absolutely.
That I had no involvement in procuring. I didn't bring the brick into the room. Just by being there alone.
Listen, let me tell you something. Guys will get stopped in a car. And let's say, classic example. When I say classic. Chris Hamilton and I are driving in the car. I'm driving the car. Chris is the passenger seat right next to me. Chris has a gun in his possession, but never tells me. I get stopped because I run a red light. Minor traffic violation. Run a red light, headlights not working. Cops stop us. Cop comes to my side. License, registration, insurance. I hand it over. Cops ask Chris, hey, sir, what's your name? Chris says, well, I'm not giving it to you. Well, Chris, you really can't do that. You're in the car. I can get your license. I can get your name. Maybe not your license, but your name. Chris starts giving them a hard time. They say, okay, sir, step out the car. Chris steps out the car. They're talking to Chris. Chris looks a little nervous, a little sketchy. They said, Chris, we're going to pat you down for what they call officer safety. Yeah. They pat Chris down. Oh, there's a bulge in Chris's pocket.
Yeah, well, I'm asking for a supervisor first off, but go ahead, keep going.
No, you're not entitled. You're not a female. A female can ask for a female to frisk her. You're a guy. They touch you.
What if I was a transgender man? Does that provide me protection?
Well, I don't know about all that.
See, you gotta be ready, man. The nuances in this game and its levels.
Transgender. I don't know what the transgender here.
Do your research.
Well, how about this? We'll frisk you first, and we'll deal with the consequences, repercussions later.
Yeah, you're right.
So they risk you. They find a gun on you. Now they say, Chris, whose gun is it? Chris says, well, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, okay. Since you don't know, Mr. Duclair, it doesn't look like your gun, but he's not owning up to it. It's somebody's gun. So, Mr. Duclair, we need you to step out the car as well. And Mr. Duclair, tell us whose gun this is. I don't know. You found on Chris. Yeah, but Chris is not telling it's his. So guess what? Both you guys are coming down to the precinct, and both you guys are getting fingerprint, and both you guys getting a mugshot until someone tells us whose gun. And guess what? If Chris decides not to tell us whose gun it is, we're both going to Rikers.
That's correct.
Now, that's just a gun on your person. Forget about the drugs on the table, and Chris is in the same room. Well, wait a minute. Chris, you saw the drugs on the table. Why didn't you leave? Well, they ain't my drugs. I got nothing to do with it. Well, you're being charged too.
This is the perfect label of wrong place, wrong time. All
Absolutely.
Of a sudden, you go do time for the crime.
Absolutely.
That's ridiculous. That seems very unfair.
And let me tell you something. There's a story. Over 10 years ago, Russell Simmons describes, and everybody knows Russell Simmons is. He's in the car in his limo driving around. Sees a buddy of his he hadn't seen in a long time. Buddy gets in the car. They're talking. Russell says the guy looks kind of suspect, like something's wrong. Russ asks him, "What's wrong?" Guy says, "Well, I'm packing something just in case something goes down." Russell Simmons said, "In case something goes down." What do you mean something goes down? He shows Russell the gun. Russell says, you got to get out my limo right now. Right here, right now. Gives him money for a taxi. At that time, it wasn't an Uber. Gives him money for a taxi. You got to get out the car. Moral of the story, Russell knew if his limo got stopped and the guy gets, and everybody gets out the car for whatever reason, Russell's name, even though it's not Russell's gun, his name will be planted on every single paper. New York Post, Daily News, whatever, New York Times. Russell Simmons stopped in the car, gun found in the car. Because that guy didn't say, well, it was my gun. Because the guy is scared, of course, because he knows maybe his third strike. Maybe he knows if he goes in this time, he's going to go in for a nice stretch. He doesn't want to go in for that. So he's going to bide his time because he's going to wait until he gets a good lawyer that gets, as people say, the gun suppressed. Meanwhile, Russell Simmons is booked, fingerprinted, mugshot. Who got time for all that?
I see.
And that's the problem that